Hi, I'm Brooke.
I'm Jolene. This is Thor. He'll be screaming probably. Please ignore him.
We did our project on caffeine consumption. It was called Caffeine Uncovered at the Waco Suspension Bridge.
What we did, we went to the bridge planning to find people.
And when we got there, we saw a huge mob of people.
We did not know what it was, but we discovered it was a Democratic March for Democracy rally, and it was just right next to the bridge up against the river.
Yeah, so it gave us a great opportunity to talk to a ton of people about caffeine, and so we ended up making a pamphlet, which we'll show you later on. And we got to hand it out, have a great conversation with people.
Yeah, we asked them if they had any questions. A couple did, a couple just needed to go.
We did show up at the very end of the rally.
Yes, so we talked to about 24 people, families, couples, younger people, older people, just a bunch of different people. The conversations were about 2 to 5 minutes, some longer, some shorter, depending on the person's availability and wanting to talk, willingness to talk.
There were some people that were like, "You're not trying to sell us anything or take your survey." We're like, "No, we're just here to have a conversation." And after that, it was a lot. We had a lot more receptiveness. Yes.
Yes. This was our pamphlet. It was threefold, printed in color, talked about different things about caffeine, when to have it, when not to have it, what caffeine is in that you might not expect, things about energy drinks, sleep,
what happens in the brain, unlikely foods that you would have expected. I think for me the most shocking one was chewing gum and some ice cream flavors.
Yeah. Lessons we learned, I definitely say like some people didn't even know, like a lot of people ask like, "Oh, how much caffeine should I have in a day?" I'm like, oh my gosh, take this pamphlet, you need to learn so much. We learned that people don't know like as much as we thought, so then what we were doing was actually really good.
And I know that it's around 400 milligrams, and that's about 2 to 3 cups. And so I know a lot of people do exceed the 2 to 3 cups, whether it's in coffee or kombucha or tea.
Yeah, and then we would do differently. We definitely talk about like what sleep efficiency means for the non-scientific person, because we talked about like
we use a lot of terminology that I think that we've learned in class, and we did a good job of explaining a lot of it, but there was some where again like sleep efficiency might sound for us like self-explanatory, but we don't know if these people we talked to had college degrees or not, and they might not have put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, so we probably would have used like more
layman terms.
Yeah. We'd also want to explain more about like the science of adenosine and caffeine. Even though it is in the pamphlet, we could have like expanded on it more in person.
Yeah, I think we really focused on like the consumption of it and like what it does to the body and how it affects sleep, as opposed to what happens neurochemically. But even then, I think a lot of people would be more interested in the tangible effects more than the chemical effects anyways.
Yeah. It's in there for them to learn.
Charlie was the first guy we talked to. He was waiting for his pizza.
Waiting for his little personal pizza.
Yes. Where was he from,
Jacksonville, Texas.
Yes.
Which we don't know where that is.
No. Geographically challenged.
Yeah, very.
But he was very sweet. He said that he had just participated in a sleep study that was 1 night long.
1 night long.
Yeah. And so, because we educated him on the first night effect, and we asked him how he slept on that first night, and he said that he actually surprisingly slept really well despite not being good with new environments and whatnot.
Yeah, and so he told us about how the electrodes were on his head, and at least I refrained from telling him all about what that was and the science behind that. But that was definitely our favorite moment. Positive reflections. We actually think we got to some people. Like some people we talked to them, handed them a pamphlet, and moved on. But
we had a lot more conversation than I had expected.
Yeah, people actually were interested in learning. So maybe they'll go and talk to their families or their friends about it.
Show their pamphlet to.
They have a physical resource to hand them and show them. So
they don't have to memorize it.
Like we had to, which has been really fun. But now we get to tell other people. So yeah, we really enjoyed our project, and we learned a lot. Yay!